Welcome to the Urban Wall Street Project. I'm your host, Earl Christian III, of course, and today I have a dynamic show with a very special guest for all my aspiring actors, writers, playwrights, and just thespians in general. I have a very talented and gifted brother. I'm talking about the playwright for Homage 3, Illmatic, my brother, Mr. Shaun Neblett. Shaun, what's good, brother?
Good to be here, bro.
First of all, I want to say thank you for inviting me out to the show on the preview night before it, even was open to the general public.
Yeah.
And of course, I told you that night it was an amazing performance, so I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
I know that people are going to enjoy it, so definitely go check out Homage. It's going to be in New York for another 2 days to the 19th of Saturday of the November, right?
Yes.
And it's going to be coming to your city, but they're going to revamp, get his breath back, his feet, coming to your city, so stay tuned. But without further ado, Illmatic, first let the people know who Shaun Neblett is, and then when you was influenced to create this masterpiece that you've put together.
Okay, well, I've been writing plays for, about 15 years now. I started when I was young, and I was very lucky. I won a playwriting competition when I was in high school. It was a national playwriting competition. And the winner of that, to make a long story short, the winners of that competition, they chose 4 playwrights to have a off-Broadway production. So by the time I was 18, I was being produced at the Public Theater off-Broadway, which was really cool because it set the standards high for writing plays, but it gave me a idea that writing plays was easy and you could always get produced.
Okay.
But as I went through my 20s, I quickly found that that was not the case. So
little learning pains,
growing
pains.
Yeah. So through my 20s, I wrote plays, and I wrote a lot of community plays. I wrote a lot of children's plays. I did a lot of theater with young people in Harlem, Brooklyn, Bronx. But when I reached 30 is when I really decided that I wanted to write plays for people that I know, and I wanted to write plays with characters that my friends know and characters like my friends and that we would talk about. I really wanted to create plays that actors would be happy to play, and they could find depths inside of the role. So I decided I was going to create a 7-play cycle. Each play is dedicated to a hip-hop album, a classic hip-hop album. It comes out of the spirit of the hip-hop album. And I decided that if there's anywhere I would start, it would be with Illmatic. Like, that's the first one out of the 7 to be fully realized and fully done.
Well, that's a beautiful thing. And Illmatic, some people might want to say, I wonder where he came with the title. It's influenced, by the classic hip-hop album from my brother Nas and Nasir Jones. It's a beautiful thing. And when I saw this play, Shaun, I'll tell you, man, I think anybody urban communities, of course, can relate to it, and probably suburban. But, it really definitely took me back to that different era, those times and things that people were going through. So when did you decide that you wanted to do a play influenced by that album, and what was it about that album and the components that led you to write this?
Well, as I said, I'm writing 7 of these. So the first one, I really wanted to be dedicated to artists, or to be about artists, and as you saw, the main character of it is an artist. And the reason why I chose Nas is because to me, the rappers, it's like a rapper slash entertainer, you're rapper slash entrepreneur, you're rapper slash social activist. But to me, Nas is a rapper slash artist. And I really thought that his image and the concepts of Illmatic would really play into telling a story about coming to be as an artist. And I think that that album was very much his coming to be as an artist too.
Right.
On the first track, New York State of Mind, there's a part where Nas says, I don't know how to begin this. And then he starts rapping the song. And I read on doing research about it, I read the story that captured my imagination, but the guy said that he was in the studio and Nas stepped up to the mic and he said, I don't know how to start this. And he just sort of caved in, and he took a few seconds to regroup. And then he stepped back to the mic and he dropped probably like one of the most famous songs in hip hop culture. So
without question.
Yeah, so to me it was just about it captured a lot about an artist not really knowing what they have the power to create, but once they step up to the mic and do it, you know, they could create something that lasts generations.
For sure.
So,
Now because you know, the title is Homage 3 and Illmatic, and you know, it's kind of, you know, ode to, you know, the influence of to Nas' album, and you see kind of the backdrop that you utilize in your flyer. Did you have to reach out to him of any particular permissions or anything of that nature?
We didn't, well, no, we didn't reach out to him for that. We reached out to him to let him know that we're paying tribute and homage to him. But, you know, we were very hip-hop about it, and I think that hip-hop very much has a spirit of, you know, you do a lot of recreation and you spin James Brown into your work, and you just do your best to create off of the shoulders of those who have come before you. But no, we didn't really get tired. I mean, we spoke to lawyers and just asked, you know, just to make sure we're safe here. But, you know,
well, I guess that was the most important thing. You got the, whatever the clearance, whether it's official or unofficial, authorized, unauthorized, you got the clearance to go ahead and utilize the likeness of the name, if you will. Now, for the individuals who may not be fortunate to have seen it or might not be in New York and get the opportunity to see it, you know, let us know just succinctly what the story is essentially about, Shaun.
The story talks about a young artist. He's a photographer, but he's sort of has one foot in his photography career, and the other foot is in a world where he's a teacher, and he's doing work at a school. And you know, through the course of the play, he has to really decide how is he going to become a full-fledged artist, and what does that mean, and what would he do if he couldn't fail, you know, as an artist. So it really just takes that spirit of Nas when he was starting and where he was with Illmatic, and not knowing what you want to do, but sort of deciding, you know, I'm going to do it anyway and see where it takes me. Right, so,
right. Yeah. Now the cast is about what is it? Six people cast. Yeah. And how did you, because it seemed like the individuals, very well cast. It seemed like the people, you know, the principal, you know, his assistant, and even the gentleman, you know, the main character, and then his accomplice. How'd you, you know, decide who would get role? Was it tough casting each individual for the? Because when you have 6 characters and you have to tell a story for, you know, 90 minutes or so, you got those folks really have to be that character. So was it a challenge?
It was a challenge. It was a challenge, but you know, things have a way of falling into place the right way. We've been working on the Illmatic piece for about 3 years now. So we've seen many different actors, all of whom were good and great, play different roles, but in doing a lot of talk back to our audience and feedback, you know, it became very clear of who we wanted to have in key positions. Okay. And then the rest of the folk really fell in place. I mean, there's a young student, there's a young actor on there, but he was a student of mine that I teach at the Schomburg. I work with him, I teach theater. So, you know, there was also that spirit of like, we wanted to build a team of people that I knew and that the director, Patricia McGregor, that she knew had the spirit of being good and being hardworking and, you know, understood their different levels of hip-hop, and it's not just like an entertainment thing, but, you know, this stuff is speaking to people's lives. So. And
how did you decide upon a director?
Oh, the director, her name is Patricia McGregor. You know, I just heard, like, through the grapevine, like, you got to meet this director, Patricia McGregor. She's young. You know, she has good energy. You got to work with her. She has good working with music and the rhythm of a piece. So, you know, I had a friend who introduced me to Patricia. This is like 2 years ago, and I met Patricia, and she was like, well, could you read the script for me? And she, you know, she had me read the whole script for her right there. And she was probably the first director that immediately after hearing the script, there were just things that she said that were very key, and I knew that she was the right person and had the right understanding of it. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. You know, we're gonna continue talking with my brother Shaun. We're gonna take a quick break, take care of some business, and we'll be right back. So we're here with some beautiful people. How'd you enjoy the show tonight?
It was fantastic. Loved it. It was amazing. It's my first time seeing Joseph perform in person, besides on the movie Doubt. But he did an excellent job. The whole cast was phenomenal, phenomenal. And I will be back to see it again.
We always celebrate the arts, and it was wonderful. Totally awesome.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Have you been a dad today?
Big dreams and good grades aren't enough to get into college. There are actual steps you need to take. Finding someone who can help is the first and most important. For the next steps, go to knowhowtogo.org.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy Cancun. If you're trying to get your mind right, you know what I'm saying, get that thorough info on what's really popping, check out urbanwallstreet.tv. You know, you got everything you need right here.
Welcome back to the Urban Wall Street Project. I'm here with my guest, Shaun Neblett, playwright of Homage, thru, Illmatic. So let's talk about the production. We had your director, and I'm glad you found somebody who saw your vision, and she definitely brought it to life on the stage. But now production, you are the producer.
I am the producer,
okay.
Yes.
Now, as the playwright and the producer, how is it wearing that hat, that challenge being a producer? Because I know there's a difference. If we're going to talk about you as a producer, you've produced up in Harlem,
right?
You know, and now this was your first time producing in Midtown. Yes, Midtown, my people, right around from the Garden, with 30th between 7th and 8th. It was a beautiful situation.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the production hats you wore.
Okay, well, the production, you know, I have a company, Changing Perceptions Theater, and we really established the company because we wanted to be in charge of our work. Yes. And, you know, we wanted to have control of what we're doing. This time around, we were very selfish with it, you know? So we didn't want to give it to a theater and let them interpret this. You know, so for me, it was very important in establishing a team that really understood we're working to pay tribute towards someone who has had influence over our culture and our people. So I decided that I would raise money for it. You know, I contract out with different public schools, and I teach theater. So, you know, I raise the money doing what I do and sharing what I know. And, you know, I did a lot of teaching work. Some people in the cast came in the schools and taught with me. And over the course of about 2 years, we pulled together enough money to pull the production together. And you know, once we got the right people in the room, you know, everything just fell together from there.
Now I want to talk about the comparison because, you know, the one thing I always want to do is inspire, you know, the next generation of producers or writers or whatever the professional is and the topic is. So I'm sure there's some, you know, some excellent playwrights out there. I know I have some amazing writers in my Young Producers program, and I'm sure they're going to do some phenomenal things as you've doing. But producing up in Harlem, and now producing a program in Midtown. Let's talk about the differences and the dynamics, the challenges, and maybe some of the hurdles you had to overcome in Midtown that you didn't have up in Harlem.
Up in Harlem. Well, in Harlem for me is easy to move around. You know, that's first, because it's my community. I've been living there for 12 years now. You know, and it's really easy to, you know, you need some copies. You could go into Kev's copy shop over on Lenox and get your copies done. People really have an understanding of why you're doing what you're doing. It's, you know, they call Harlem a village a lot, you know, and it very much is that to me and to people who have put their lives there for a while. And, you know, producing up in Harlem, it's like you always have someone you could rely on or that'll come through to help in some degree.
Like kind of like family, like you run next door to down. The family lives in the building. You know, I got to run down the third floor to my grandmother's and get something for dinner. That's a good thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But now we go down to the jungle.
Yeah, Midtown is a beast, man. You know, it's like it's a machine. Like Midtown is a machine, and it moves quick, and it's like, you know, it's definitely more expensive too. It's a lot more expensive to move around. But you know, the challenge of being in Midtown is just really staying on top of your game, I think, and really just making sure that you're focused. Because for me, I had to deal, you know, we rented out a theater, you know, we had to deal with a whole lot more questioning, a whole lot more, you know, as far as young producers, like, you know, getting forms filled out, making sure things are done in a timely fashion and things like that. Like it's definitely, you know, we spent like a few years in establishing this company, learning business practice.
Yes.
And it was definitely, we're glad that we were prepared. That's how I'll phrase it. We were glad that we were prepared.
I'm sure of that. Now let's talk about, you know, the support. Because anytime, you know, you're embarking on major projects, independent projects, and this is not your first project, so I want to be clear for my audience, this is definitely not his first project, and you're growing, and I love to see it. But let's talk about your support system. How is your support system, Shaun? Because, you know, none of us can get to that promised land alone.
Yeah. Now the support system for me is really coming from people who understand what we're doing. And a lot of, you know, you'll be very shocked at how many people really don't get it. Because as soon as they hear you're paying homage to a rapper or a rap star, you know, people don't get why someone would do that. But, you know, it's so crazy because, you know, as a teacher, and not even as a teacher, just as an African-American male who's 34 years old, it's like, we know the degree that hip-hop is influencing not even brown-skinned people, but the world.
Real, without question.
You know? And, you know, Shakespeare to me, he sort of did the same thing because, you know, he used Julius Caesar or Hamlet, but he used princes of Denmark and different places to create his plays, but I'm using the kings and queens and princes of hip-hop culture to create my plays, you know?
Yes.
So, but, you know, as far as getting support for an idea like that, you know, it's definitely been easier for getting support from a lot of people in theater, a lot of people, young actors of my generation who are in theater, who always go out on the same auditions, who are always playing the same roles, Thug number 1 and Thug number 2.
Right.
You know, so when this piece comes around where it's like, wow, you're dealing with something that I grew up on, or, you know, you're finding value in something that I find value in, a lot of people want to come and support, and a lot of people want to be a part of it because they understand that this is something that's for us. And in producing it on our own, it's something that we're really taking care of, you know, as our child, you know, that we're not just handing it like, here's our child, here, take it, you know, you know, and putting it in the wrong hands. But, you know, the supporters come from people who understand it. The supporters come from people who don't understand it, but come into the theater and see what we're doing and see how we work. And now they want to support us, you know. So, you know, and it's all over. It's coming from hip-hop people, theater people, It's coming from all around. Slowly, it's building. Yeah.
So here's a question for, you know, that playwriting, producing 101. A young individual, 15, 16, you know, I know I want to do that. I have that same passion. I love to write. I love to create. What's some 3 things, if you can give 3 tips that an aspiring playwright should prepare themselves for and know, what would they be, Shaun?
3 things an aspiring playwright should know. First of all, create a play and produce it yourself, right? Okay. First of all, don't sit around and wait for someone to come around and say that you're good. You know, so many playwrights, they're waiting to get produced by this company or that company, and that's the only merit of being good. You have to create your own work and just do it. Like the Nike ad.
That's right.
Just do it.
I say it all the time. It's not just try it.
Right.
Just wait for it.
Right.
Just do it.
Just do it. That's first. Second, I would really say study the craft. I think that it's really important that you know how to tell a story. And there are books out there that'll teach you how to do it in simpler ways, you know, but you really have to study the craft. I don't think you really have to go to a university to study the craft. I think you have to read a lot of plays. And third of all, you know, I think it's just important to care about stuff, you know. Like have
that passion.
Yeah, you gotta care. Like you gotta care about something.
Gotta care about something. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Now, when the people, when the lights go up, the curtains go up, and the lights come on, and the cast takes a bow, what is it that you want the audience to walk away with, Shaun?
My favorite comment is when people, for this particular play, I love it when people come up and say, I saw myself in the play.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and I saw a picture. We got a prominent PhD, right?
Right, yeah.
Mr. Dyson?
Dr. Dyson,
Dr. Dyson.
Yes.
Appreciate it. And I read where he said he saw himself in that play.
He did say that, yeah.
And what was it? What was it? Any particular dynamic that that connected with him about the play that he saw himself in?
Yeah. Well, Michael, you know, Dr. Dyson, he wrote a book about Illmatic called Born to Use Mics. Okay. Well, he didn't write the book. He edited a book, and he put together a lot of writers that wrote essays about Illmatic. He wrote one essay in the book, and it focused on his brother who's serving a life sentence in jail.
Wow. And
I think it focused specifically on the song One Love off the Illmatic album, and talking about, you know, the different ways that love is manifested in our community and amongst our people, you know. So in my play, you have two characters that, you know, they're going at it,
right?
You know, but those of us familiar with people like that, it's like, we know there's a strong level of love there, you know.
No question.
So, you know, I can't speak for him. I would love, you know, it's a conversation that one day over some coffee or something, I'm gonna be like, so what'd you really get out of that joint? But yeah, he responded well. He responded really well to that play.
Okay, yeah. And I'm sure many people will. So, and you know, lastly, you know, so many great things, you know, you've done in the past, and your stars continually rising and you're shining. What's next? I mean, we're still on Homage, of course, the first one, the first of 7. But what's next for Illmatic? Where do we want to go with it next?
The next thing for Illmatic, you know, my goal is I just want as many people as possible to see it. You know, and I'm very clear about that desire, because I believe that the story has a lot of things that people could be inspired by. I really believe in sharing appreciation for Nas, because Nas, to me, is a leading image in hip-hop culture. You know, there's so many different images, and I don't know Nas as a person, but I know in hip-hop culture his image as a rapper represents something that a lot of rappers don't. So I also really like just telling people, you know, take a look at Nas, listen to what Nas is saying sometimes. So
definitely,
yeah.
definitely. Yeah. We're gonna have to, when this show closes, we're gonna have to get this on a DVD. We're gonna have to get that Homage. We need somebody to come out and record it, and get it on a DVD, because I know the audience will be loving to have to walk away with it.
Yes.
You know, it's a beautiful thing. My people at home, you know, as always, I want to bring you the best and the brightest from all the different industries, and I want to thank my guest, Mr. Shaun Neblett. His play Homage 3, Illmatic, is an amazing production. I feel blessed and honored to see it, and also be a part of that hip-hop culture, you know, whether it's New York, in Miami, California, Detroit, Chicago. We all have a Nas story. We all have an Illmatic story. It will relate to you. So if you're in New York area, if you're catching this trailer, if you're seeing it, you know, check it out. The closing's on November 19th. That's Saturday. Yeah. But it may be coming to a city near you, so, you know, keep in contact. You know, look up for Shaun Neblett, Google him, because you'll definitely be pleased with the work that the brother has done and going to continue to do. Again, as I always say, be mindful, be prosperous, keep your head up, maintain some passion, because you got to have passion about something, like my brother said. Until next time, peace. So here we are at Illmatic Homage, one of the stars, my man Quentin Lowe. What's good, brother?
Chillin', man. Just happy to be here. Happy to be here.
So you're real humble now, but you got to see this play. For those who didn't see it, did an amazing job, brother. So congrats. Well, how is it to be a part of this Homage, Illmatic? This tribute to Nas Illmatic album, if you will.
Wow. It's a pleasure and it's an honor because I grew up on Nas. You know, I was even a little young when Illmatic came out, so I didn't fully understand the significance. I kind of got put on where it was written. I've been following him ever since. So when his play came around, I had a chance to revisit that album. I was like, man. And to figure out or find out he started at 18 and didn't even come out, he was still 20 when it came out. So he's 18, 19, he's a teenager writing this stuff. And I remember it. He really painted a picture, because I remember New York in '94. You know, I remember it. So when I see Nas's, when I listened to his album again, see, I said scene because that's how the album is, like you can see it. So I just try to take that picture that he painted and put that on the stage as the Playwright has it, you know? Pictures, man, pictures.
Listen, you did your thing. Congratulations, always seeing you. Keep shining, keep doing what you do,
Appreciate
brother.
That, man.
Beautiful situation, all right? Yes, sir.
Thank you. BS represent all day.
You already know, you already know. All right? So here we are at another beautiful theater goer. How'd you enjoy the show tonight, lady?
I love the show tonight. I came last week also, and I was at the showing in last August. Okay. And tonight, I think was the best time for me. It made me think, and it inspired me on like some levels that I'm going through in my life now. So I feel like it made me think about how to solve some problems that I currently have personally. So, I don't know, yeah.
So when this show comes back to New York and hits other cities, people should definitely go out and get their ticket.
Yes, I think so, definitely.
Illmatic, thank you, beautiful.
You know, it's just good. It's almost feeling like I get to go back to high school a little bit when I'm up there. That's why I went and got the Carhartt joint, you know what I mean? Went and got the beef from Broccoli Tim's, you know, just to, you know, to add that little, you know, I told them, I was like, they were like, what? You know, a younger girl was like, would they wear that? When is that what somebody would wear?